Welcome to Coffee with Democrats, a sensible platform for progressive conversations. Coffee with Democrats is a grassroots movement dedicated to hearing from Democrats, candidates, legislators, and friends from all political backgrounds who want great conversations. Coffee with Democrats is committed to increase Democrat voter registration and Democrat voter turnout by making voting more exciting and meaningful. And now here's your host of Coffee with Democrats, Kevin Dawson.
And good morning and welcome to Coffee with Democrats. We've got a special guest with us today and a good friend of mine, Mary Brannon. She is running for House District 4.
Congressional District 4.
Yeah, Congressional District 4 for the U.S. House of Representatives. And we've been around and known each other for a long time. We were working together for the delegate position. I won't get into all the details, but Mary and I really collaborated and worked very hard. So I appreciate everybody joining Coffee with Democrats today. And welcome, Mary. Thank you for coming on to Coffee Break on Coffee with Democrats. How are you doing this morning?
Thank you for having me. I'm just doing great.
Good.
I saw Harris last night on 60 Minutes, and I think she brought it home. Good.
I do, too. I think she was pretty strong on that. There was a lot of gotcha questions. They kept pushing this gotcha. That's not our program. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm all about trying to promote Mary Brannon and do everything I can. But we're also going to talk about the campaign for Kamala, and we're going to have a short presentation that's coming from the Lincoln Project on here is with us as well. But before we get to all that, let's talk a little bit about Mary Brannon and talk about what's going on in your part of the prairie.
Well, I decided to run against Tom Cole because he is just awful. No 10-year-old should be forced to have a rapist baby, attaching her to the monster criminal for life. And that's what Tom Cole's for. He's the Republican plank is no exceptions. Oklahoma's the worst. Tom Cole will cut Social Security before he will make the rich pay their fair share, and he will do another tax break for the very rich, and that doesn't grow the economy. That just makes billionaires richer. We need to grow the economy from the middle out, like school teachers like me.
Right.
And another thing Tom Cole keeps trying to say is Social Security is an entitlement. No, it is not. It is an earned benefit. The entitlements are things like Section 8 housing and food stamps. They don't pay taxes. We paid into that Social Security our entire lives, working lives, paid by our employers as well, matched, and in interest-bearing accounts. So he's trying to scare everybody saying it's running out of money, and it's not. The only thing it's running out of is money from the rich who are no longer paying their fair share. In 2017, he took the tax from 28% to 21%. If it went back to that, we would have no problems. And another thing, he's going to vote for the tax cuts for the rich. He is in like all Republicans, in the pockets of big pharma. He's against the $35 cap on insulin while people in CD4 die because they can't afford it. He always says he's for veterans, and that's just word salad because he votes against them every time. He voted against the PACT Act, which was veterans who got cancer from burn pits. He wanted to stop their care. That's, like I said, he's in the pockets of special interests. In fact, he wants to make the VA care private, which will close all the VA hospitals, and it will go. And he wants it to go privatized. Now, whenever something is privatized, the cost goes up and the quality goes down. Look at Tinker Air Force Base housing. When they took it out of the government control and gave it to a private company, they have never-ending work receipts. They're on a list forever. They have they're disturbing the tiles, causing asbestos in the air that the kids are breathing and getting sick. They have uh, infestations of insects. Now, if you have a government person like it used to be in charge of that, you go in there and you say, you either fix this or we will campaign for your opponent next time. Once it goes private, you don't have that. You don't have that bargaining chip. That's why if they do that to base housing, can you imagine what they would do to veteran care? I got into this because my brother, who I just adored, he had 2 tours in Vietnam, and he came home and he was eaten alive by Agent Orange. And I told him on his deathbed, he said, Mary, please don't let the VA go private and those hospitals close, because not only does the veteran need it, but we people who love the veteran needs it. And I said, I will do my best. And so I will continue to run against Cole until either he's in the ground or I'm in the ground.
So let's talk a little bit about your campaign and how people can help you. Put the banner up there for your Act Blue account, how people can donate, because you can't do this on your own. You've got to have people helping you.
Oh, and I also want to say, I'll do that at the end, but the most important thing you can do for me and everybody else is register to vote.
Please, yes.
iwillvote.com. You see that? You can
Right.
you can register online. Direct party voting is killing us. Republicans don't care anymore. They have it 2-1, and when they get over on that ballot and color in Republican, they're voting against their own special interests, especially if you're on Social Security. But this mindset, especially in the rural area where I live, it's my daddy was a Republican, my grandpa was a Republican, and by golly, I'm going to vote Republican. They don't understand this is not the old Republican Party of Lincoln and Eisenhower. It's the party of Trump, which is
Right.
greed and not caring about anybody but himself. I mean, he is scary, and especially if you read that Project 2025. That is the worst that can happen. If he gets elected again, it will be our last election. And
No doubt.
Another thing about Tom Cole, he is so bought and paid for. He violated his oath when he held his hand on the Bible, saying he would, do what the oath said to do. Well,
Protect and defend. Yeah.
Well, he voted against Joe Biden being certified, who was legally elected. That's an impeachable offense.
Right.
And he just keeps getting more money and more money. See, I'm just like, I heard on the radio the other day, if Nixon would have had this Senate, he wouldn't have quit, because they would have saved him. And I thought, that's true, and that's scary.
Right.
The Republicans only win if they cheat. They are gerrymandering. They voter suppression. Did you see in the newspaper where Stitt just knocked half 458,000 people off the registration because they've either moved or they hadn't voted in a while? Well, first of all, it was mostly independents and Democrats.
Right.
To win in Oklahoma, we have got to get out the vote, because experts say people know how they're going to vote. This vote, the winner will be decided by turnout. That's why we've got to turn out. We've got to get Trump out. And another thing, I've never seen such a corrupt Supreme Court. Philosopher Jason Stanley of Yale University, best known for his 2018 book, How Fascism Works, tweeted today, once you have the court, you can pretty much do whatever you want.
Right.
Like the court reversing where that the 6-foot ban, now it's back. So more people are going to die. The only path forward for us is to win the House, the Senate, and presidency, remove the filibuster, and expand the court to 13 justices. It's either that or fascism.
Right. Well, you are on a roll this morning. I am enjoying every bit of this conversation. I can tell you that right now, Mary. I appreciate you so much. Your passion for what you want to do is it's without compare.
Well, plus I never thought, because I graduated high school in 1970 and Roe v. Wade happened in 1973. I had an acquaintance in high school, I wouldn't say a friend, but she had a back alley abortion and about died. That's why we got Roe v. Wade. That's why we had that. So, because you can't stop abortions.
Right.
You can only stop safe abortions. Just because you make it legal doesn't mean they're not going to have them.
Right.
And I've lived in both. And let me tell you, it's so much better when they're legal.
Right.
And the Republicans, it's, mostly it's rich white men telling me what I can do with my body. I never thought in my lifetime that my daughter and my granddaughter would have less rights than I had.
All right, let's stop right there for just a second, because I want to show everybody this New Lincoln Project video. So I'm going to open this up here so that you can actually see this on the screen. And again, people, this is a hard-hitting video, but I want us to be able to watch this together. So here we go.
Heart rate at 130. Blood pressure dropping at 80/50. Finger clamps were at 80/50.
It didn't need to end this way, Dad. You were so excited to be a grandfather. When you walked me down the aisle, those were happy tears. College, high school, sports, I could always count on you. You were my protector, my hero. You always made me feel safe, loved, like I was the most important person in the world. But it turned out he was more important.
The fact that I was able to terminate Roe v. Wade after 50 years of trying.
Each one of those abortion bans includes strict legal rules that are designed to be impossible to comply with. How does a mother who is dying in a hospital bed get to a courthouse to prove to a judge that she's dying?
You will no longer be thinking about abortion.
You knew what he'd do. You knew his politics would end my freedom, my rights. My life. You chose hate over me.
Powerful. And the thing is, if you don't get reproductive care and you have a ectopic pregnancy, where the egg starts growing in the fallopian tube, you're going to die. That's just it. You're going to die because it's going to grow and it's going to burst that fallopian tube and you're going to bleed to death. How? The lady who died, who had the 6-year-old son because she couldn't get care, how is that pro-life? That 6-year-old doesn't have a mother now. Where if she would have been in another state, she might have lived. And I'm just like I said, I've lived in pre-Roe v. Wade, and it's just awful what's happening. And we have got to get, if I'm elected, that's one of the first things I'm going to do is try to get Roe v. Wade back and I want it in the Constitution. I want it in the Constitution so it doesn't go back to the states. And we're going to have to do that. We're going to have to get more. We have to have Democrats at the Kamala Harris. Then we have to have Democrats like me in the House. We're going to have the Democrats in the Senate. Langford, he's awful. He said, he's always for pro-life. He voted against free and reduced school lunches. Well, how can a kid learn if they're hungry? They'd rather have Bibles in the school than free and reduced lunches. I'm a retired school teacher. The food they get at school that day might be the only school they get all day. I just think we've got so many hypocrites up there. Tom Cole, he voted against infrastructure bill, but boy, he was at the Norman Airport shaking hands and cutting ribbons, which that money was used for to extend the airstrip. And he's there. People don't know. He voted against it. Same thing with we're getting broadband to all the parts of Oklahoma, even the really rural parts, especially if we have another pandemic, because a lot of kids have to learn that way. Well, he's, bragging about all that stuff and how it's happened. He voted against it. That's what Republicans do. They're there taking the credit when they did everything they could to stop it. And I want people to understand that. That's why you've got to go vote. This Friday's the last day, October 11th. That means you've got to register. You've got to take friends to register. You've got to take friends to, if they need a ride, because the only way we are going to win is if we have turnout. And categorically, people in Oklahoma have given up. They think it's such a red state. What good can I do? Well, let me tell you, this is my 4th time to run against Tom Cole. And in Oklahoma, the reddest of red states. In fact, we had Ryan Walters on all 3 channels talking about the Trump Bible he's trying to buy with my tax money. That's a whole nother story. But we cannot. I ran against Cole because he is awful. Winning in Oklahoma, because it's such a red state, is doing better than you did the time before. And each time I've won. I won my primary in the beginning. Well, I didn't win by 50%, so I went to a runoff. Then I won that. Then the next time, I didn't have anybody, so I just went straight to the general ballot. And then this time, I ran against another Democrat who was just Cody. He would have been great. But we have to not say, give up, we're just a red state and that's just the way it is. Because that's what Republicans want us to do. And I don't want to have another young mother, oh, well, sorry, son, because of the state you live in, your mother died because she could not get reproductive care, which goes against the Hippocratic Oath. You're supposed to save lives. So I'm going to give you some of my other information because I post every day. So I've got www. Elect Brannon. Then I have on Facebook, Brannon, then the number 4 Congress. And then on Twitter X, it's at Elect Brannon. And on Instagram, it's Mary Brannon 4, but it's spelled FOR Congress. I post something every day, usually a bunch of stuff on what's going on in Washington and what's going on in Oklahoma. So if you don't have time to read a paper, go to my spots and you'll have the highlights. Are you talking? I can't hear you.
One of the things that you need people's help. You need for people to be able to come out and help you, and they've got to be able to donate. And so I've put the Secure Act Blue up there for people to help. Again, everything that you put out, every mailer, every sign that goes in somebody's yard, if you put anything that is on broadcast or on the radio, all of that costs money. And we've got to do everything we can on our side to help Mary win this election. Because again, everything is at stake this time. The democracy is at stake. Our Constitution is at stake. Women's rights are at stake. And
women's lives
yes.
are at stake.
So,
and another thing, I know a lot of people are like me. They're teachers or they're, policemen, firefighters. I know you don't have a lot of money. So what I think the reason I've won so much because I've collected so little. When you see something on my Facebook that you like, share it. Share it on all your social media.
Right.
And then that way, and then tell those people to share. And it's kind of like when you throw a rock in the lake, the first ring and then the second ring. That's how we get word out. Because let me tell you, I can't compete with Tom Cole money-wise. He's got $2 million, but he gets it special interest groups, and I'm not going to sell my soul. I'm just not.
Right. Well, folks, we've had Mary on here. She is a ball of fire. I love her to death, and I really hope that everybody will support her and vote for her. Remember, whenever you're going to the ballot, start at the bottom of the ballot and work your way up, because the last thing you'll see on that ballot is the straight party vote. Don't do straight party voting. Vote for the individual. Do your be informed as a voter. Get to know who the candidates are. we've got to talk about they're trying real hard to get a lot of our Supreme Court justices from the state of Oklahoma taken off the ballot. These are all conservative judges. A lot of them were appointed by Kevin Stitt, but every one of those judges are upholding the rule of law. Kevin Stitt is now trying to get those people that are upholding the rule of law out, and we need to say, all right, I'm going to put my liberal side aside, and we've got to support the judges that are currently there to keep the rule of law. We can't just have people that are going to go in there willy-nilly and just throw things around. So thanks for joining.
Also, they're trying to do away with the it's where we sign the petition. The
petition laws. Yeah,
because like we are one of only 3 states who still has $7.25 for minimum wage.
Right.
That's been that way for 13 years. By the time they take out the taxes, it's $5 an hour.
Right.
So I was on that whole thing to get that because I knew it had to be on there as its own, because the Republicans would kill it if it was straight party. But now we got double the signatures, and he's not going to bring that up for a vote for 2 years.
Yeah, that's unconstitutional as well. Yeah. So
that's
why vote
Democrat.
Right.
Registered people.
Well, man, you've ended my show right there. That's exactly what I was going to tell everybody. So thanks for stealing my thunder, but thanks for coming on Coffee with Democrats. And
IWillVote.com.
Yes, get registered before this Friday. All right, folks. Thanks so much for joining us on Coffee with Democrats. Be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. And until then, everyone, please be safe. Thank you so much.
Go vote.